intro.
Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing great. For our listeners, y'all piss me off, actually, because I, actually want to have a genuine, dialogue with a lot of people because I know our real-life conversations, and so I post stuff on our story for you to respond to. We do it anonymous, so I don't even need to know who you are. No one fucking responds. I knew it too. When it's so funny though, because the app will send me a notification as someone's viewing you. So it'll be like, quick, someone's viewing you. And I'm like, quick, okay, cool. What do you want me to do about it? And then no one will send anything in. So I'm like, you're there. You're just not
You thought about it.
Pressing send. Anyway, hope you guys are doing
I
good.
do wonder, other podcasts where they're like, what we said. Every episode is people writing in.
Because
I'm like, did you make this up?
They have 12 million people that like them, and we have 32. But I'm like, I know you 32 know what the fuck we're talking about and can contribute. So
yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Love you so much. We're gonna dive in. We've been really trying to. I said, I think last episode, that I really want to find a book and get back into reading. So Erica had the idea of diving into our Goodreads for our 10 and 10 and looking at some of the books that we want to read, which I love. You go first, though, because clearly I don't have mine pulled up yet.
Verity, very popular book, apparently, by Colleen Hoover. I haven't read it, but this was my latest addition to my lineup, because I guess it's going to be a show or a movie.
Ooh.
And her other book, It Ends With Us. Really unfortunate how that movie played out with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, but great book. I thought the movie was good, so I would like to read Verity. I don't actually even know what it is about.
That's the thing. I'm looking through some of mine, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, wait, why did I say I wanted to read this again?
The last sentence is, after all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue to love her. Whoa! So maybe I'll read that after the women.
I love that. The first one that I have is When Breath Becomes Air. A friend recommended this. So one thing that I love recently is working where I work. I get to engage with a lot of different people, and I really respect a lot of the people that come in and just sit by themselves, and a lot of times they have a book, and so it's just perfect to spark up a conversation, and you learn a lot. And so I've actually met a few people and have gathered book recs from them just by seeing what they're reading in real life. And so this was one of those situations, and so I just added it, and honestly I'm reading it right now because I again forgot. But it's this young neurosurgeon faced with terminal cancer diagnosis who attempts to answer the question, what makes life worth living? And this conversation, we were talking about it with Katie, who I don't know if you guys remember we had on the podcast back in December. And so it's all of that, very emotional, and also them being a neurosurgeon, and I love Grey's Anatomy, so I'm just it just feels like it could be a very powerful book. And she's reading it right now, and I just saw her update on Goodreads right before this, so I'm it must be good if she's already 51% halfway done through. So that's
a true story.
I don't think. No, I think it's a novel, but maybe it's based on. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna read all this right now. Oh shit! Yeah, Paul Calanthe died March 2015 while working on this book.
Whoa.
Yet his words live on as a guide and a gift to us all. Okay.
Oh
okay.
My
so
gosh.
Sad, but
wow. I want to read that.
Yeah, When Breath Becomes Air.
Okay.
So
let me add it to my list.
Yeah.
Dang. Mine is also a true story, but not like that. The next one I have added is called Really Good, actually, and the cover is. I found this when I was looking at children's books for a baby shower. I meandered through the bookstore, and this cover is a girl in a messy bun with her makeup smeared because she's crying. and
you're relatable.
Yeah. The first line of the description is a hilarious and painfully relatable debut novel about one woman's messy search for joy and meaning in the wake of an unexpected breakup. And I think I remember reading more about it, and she's like 29. It just felt like everything that she was describing. I was like, okay, so maybe I should read this.
Yeah. Also love that cover. I love when that happens. That's what I was talking.
Wait, did you see it?
Oh wow, I really love that. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like moments like that where it like, you know, like you were looking for a book for a whole other reason, and then that cover just caught your eye. It's, what's the word for that? Serendipitous? Is that right?
I think so.
Anyway, the next one I have is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I haven't said the other names, but I'm going to start. Again, I don't know, something about just like this trauma, but long story short, like main character or whatever is like going through a really tough time, just like with death and a bunch of other stuff it looks like, and ends up having a little bit of a connection with, she goes to like work in an aquarium and starts having a connection with an octopus there. And so, I don't know, sounds cool. Sounds like a great novel.
You love octopus.
I do. I love all things, really.
I love everything. My next one, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McNaugh. That's why I don't say the names. Yep. It's about a family who's living on a remote island off of Antarctica. And I don't really know the whole story, but the last sentence is that it's about the impossible choices we make to protect the people we love, even as the world around us disappears. So I would imagine, because, you know, global warming, if they're living by Antarctica, curious.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
The next one I have, The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I honestly only added this because I read her book called Mexican Gothic, and I really liked it. And so I saw that, which is along the same lines, just she's a little bit of like a darker kind of sci-fi, but like not really, I don't know, like sci-fi that I can digest. There's no like crazy, you know, stuff. It's just like a little bit here and there, which is nice. Like the Mexican Gothic was a really, really great book. Anyway, so I just saw that she had some other books coming out, and I want to read them because I like her as an author. So that's my next one. She also has, I'm just going to loop these both together, The Seventh Veil of Sal. How do you say that? Do you pronounce the E?
Solemn? Salome?
Salome? Yeah, well, anyway. I can read.
The great thing about reading is you do it in your head, and you can pronounce words however you want.
Like, blee, blah, blah, blah.
Like when we were talking about Akatar or whatever.
Yeah.
And we both said the names differently in our brains. And I'm like, no, this is how it makes sense to me.
Oh, that's so funny.
I am reading The Women, I'll just keep saying it. And her other book, Kristen Hanna's other book, well, she has a lot, but that I have on my list is The Nightingale. And apparently this one is based in World War One, right? Nazis? That's World War One?
No, Nazis is World War II.
World War Two?
Yep.
Okay. I know history.
You're like, World War One, yep. Nazis, yep. Nope.
Yikes.
That's okay.
The book I'm reading now is based in Vietnam. This one's based in World War II.
Oh, so. Really? She's really hitting all the wars.
All the wars. But it's so good.
My last one is The Housemaid by Frida something or another. I actually, this is like such a lie because it's not on my Goodreads. I'm going to add it right now, but I've been meaning to because it's been recommended on a few podcasts that I listen to, and it just feels like an attention grabber. Like it just pulls you right in, and I could not sound more like a broken record, but I really want a book like that I cannot put down. And so I feel like, why not that one? So that's on mine.
I like that. My last one I have is Normal People, which I already have seen the show.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a book. So I feel like I would like to read the book and compare and see.
I didn't even finish it. I need to finish it.
It's such a good show.
So, like, I could just tell that it's going to be just so sad. I started tearing up. I told you guys this on the podcast. Like, he just is, like, the emotional intimacy, and then he like puts his hand around her at the pool, like, and that's all he could do. I can't even talk about it. It's so sad.
It really is. It's like heartbreaking.
I don't even want to know the rest. In my mind, I'm like, they live happily ever after. Anyway, I don't know. I said that was my last one, but did I did 4 or 5?
I think you have one more.
All right. Well,
I don't actually know, but if you don't have one, it's okay. You did say 2 for.
I did, yeah.
One author.
We're just gonna call it.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I'm interested in. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk about today's episode because. Oh.
It's crazy.
I love it. It's like the neighborhood feel. You really you get to. You're like here with us.
It just felt like they were driving into the house.
The motorcycle gang. Okay. No, I'm excited to talk about what we're talking about today because we kind of like previewed it. Yeah, and I have so much to say, and then of course I went on Reddit and like searched up some things, and that gave me even more thoughts or whatever. But I just feel like this is so relevant right now of like what we're feeling in our life, of just this, growing up and feeling like at this age I'm gonna do this, and then this age I'm gonna have this, and then this age, like, everything is laid out, everything has a timeline, everything has a space. And as you get older, like, speaking for myself, things, priorities, goals have shifted and changed. I think the world compared to our parents' world is crazy different in so many ways, like technology and just, I mean, really so many things. And I find it like interesting how growing up, how like each phase of my life, something in my timeline has changed and shifted. And now like looking back is at 29, gonna be 30 soon, and just seeing like, wow, this is not where I thought I would have been. And now it makes it really hard to look at the future because the timeline that I thought I was going to have for what my future, like past 30, like as a real adult look like, isn't laying out how I want. So it makes it difficult to like navigate the future. Or it's just interesting to think about of like, now that I am thinking about that, what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, when do you think you started having a timeline on your life past, like, next year in middle school, I'm going to do this? Like, when do you think that started? And what did it look like?
I truly think that the timeline I had in my mind was just what, like, society and, like, family, like, what my family did is what I thought. Like, I just thought exactly what my parents did that I was going to do. I was going to go to college, and then I was gonna get a job, and then I was gonna get married, and then I was gonna have kids. And like somewhere mixed in the house stuff. It was a little different because we never really had like a house. Like we were moving around so much. We had a house, but like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like this was our land, and so I wasn't really thinking too much about like buying a house, though I know that was mixed into that timeline, but just very traditional, basic. College, job, marriage, kids. Period. The end. Die. Like,
yeah. Literally. I think for me it was like college, probably get married in college is what I thought. And then graduate, and I don't think I really was like stoked for the kids part, but I was like, that's just what's gonna happen. And probably get a job later because you have kids. You can't work is what I thought. And then buy a house. Yeah, buy a house is definitely in there. And so it's like in my mind all of that happens before 25.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What else? I don't know, but that was it. That was all I was like in my mind, those milestones, and that's all I needed.
I think for me, what is like, just been thinking about this topic, obviously knowing that we're going to talk about it today, I am just like, I really blindly walked through life. I never really had goals. I think my main thing was swimming, and that was because like it was the one constant in my life, like the one thing that I just one felt like I was good at because I was, and one thing that I felt accomplished, I felt motivated when it was going well. And it felt something like I was getting so much gratification from so many people in my life, just like not only my parents but like my grandparents, other people, when they would see like swim meets and the dedication and like things that like it just was very like lucky that I had like talent and then was also like putting in the work. But other than that, fucking nothing. Like I didn't even want to go to college. Like I was just so like lackadaisy and just thought a goal or a passion would just kind of fall into my lap. And like I'm really trying to take this moment while I talk to like be positive and kind to myself, because like I was so fucking young, and I really think that like, not to jump ahead, but like I'm grateful for everything because it led me to where I am. I just want to say that. But I really just like, I chose a school that was way too expensive and way too far, but because it had the swimming piece. But it wasn't even like that good. I really was just like, well, I go to college. This is the next thing. Like where I go, what I do, it doesn't matter, because as long as the college is on that timeline, like if you literally think of what a timeline looks like, that's where it was, you know? But then like, not to spend too like long on it, but then it was like, once I was there at college, it was like, all right, well, this is where I'm at. This is what it is. I picked something that I, was just like, all right, like I sort of resonate with this. So let's just continue with this. At least I'm going to graduate. The next thing is like, well, I found someone and they want to go this way. What else am I doing with my life? You might as well do that. And it really wasn't truly, which is so annoying that I'm about to say this. My 13-year-old self would be like, shut the fuck up. But it wasn't until my frontal lobe fully developed that I was able to like look at my life, like literally even just like moving to San Diego. I really felt like me moving to San Diego is my college years. Like this was the time I like feel like that first year I went all out. And then I'm just trying to like grow up. And like, I don't think I was able to do that on the timeline that I gave myself, because I was just so fucking young. Like it did not fit. And I was trying to make priorities fit that worked for my parents, but like it doesn't work for me. Yeah.
No, I fully relate to that. And there's like no one to blame. I don't think it's like a thing of like, oh, I regret all of this or whatever, but it is like, I feel similarly. I moved to San Diego and I was like, oh, this is like the college experience that like people always talked about. Because like in college, I wasn't doing those things. I was like still trying to figure out who I even am and what I believe in, and like unlearning a lot of things. And it's like, yeah, I see people from high school that kind of did follow the very traditional like school, marriage, kids, house, all the things, and it's I don't know, I can't compare because I don't know their life, and I also am not really close to them to like be able to be like, do you regret that? Or like, what do you think about
like
that?
Like they would ever own up to it either. They would never.
But now I guess I'm feeling like at 29, when I see all my friends doing these other things, I'm like, well, shoot, I'm like behind again in this timeline. Like the timeline shifted, but now I feel behind again, even though I like came to the conclusion that it was fine not to be on that like super fast milestone thing. But I don't know what is happening this year with me.
I think I can relate. Like I kind of accepted and was just like, okay, because for me, when I think of my timeline, like once I got to college, I really do think that it's not like I didn't ever want to get married or had kids. I think in those moments, that is what I thought I wanted, because it was what everybody does. And once I experienced life a little bit, I was able to like see the life that I have and how my life was playing out, and how certain things, like what is important to me, if I were to have those things, it just wouldn't work out. Like I think about marriage, it's not that I'm opposed to any of this. It's just like I can't get married if I don't have a fucking boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I don't want to get married to just anyone.
Exactly. So it's just, it's hard when we're in this spot, and it's not like those things aren't wanted, but then it's also hard being a fucking strong, independent woman, being like, if I really wanted to, I could attain these things like that. It's not like whatever, but it's like there's certain things, there's certain boundaries, there's a certain lifestyle that is just hard, and like it's such a hard pill to swallow that it's like, if this is the path, or if this is what is important to me, like I also have to be kind to myself and realize that like then the basic timeline that other people are following just doesn't fit for me. And I think like that is where I'm at right now, of like, am I okay with this timeline?
Yeah.
And if so, like, buck up, buddy. And if not, then like, how am I gonna get to these certain goals and like certain like milestones or timeline, or, you know, whatever. It's just interesting.
I think what I'm struggling with right now is I don't even know what I want on my timeline anymore. I think it's like you have the get married, have kids, whatever things. And like for me, I think about even in career, when I got my job down here and was like, okay, I want to work my ass off and become like high up and make a ton of money. And then I started doing that, and I was like, I don't want that. Actually, I don't care about that. It's not like, I would rather have time and a life and whatever. So now I'm like, okay, what am I, obviously I need to work to live, but like for what is my passion here? Like that's the thing I'm figuring out. And like, why am I working how I'm working? Why am I working on what I'm working on? What does this matter to me? Like that is a whole thing in and of itself. And like, yeah, I got into grad school and I already deferred it a year, and it's not that I'm not feeling like I don't want to do that, but just
I know. I think too, what was I gonna say? Just like, it's frustrating because I feel like in my mind, well, my eye's twitching. Feel it. In my mind, it's like things are meant to go before another thing. So like in my mind, I'm like, I would love to really be open and attract a really healthy relationship and figure out what that feels like for a change. But in my mind, I'm like, I think I do subconsciously and even consciously stop and don't allow that kind of like openness like in my heart, because in my mind it's like I have to have a solid career and foundation and have X amount of money or wealth or status or whatever before I achieve that, because that's just how the timeline goes. So it's like it's hard for me to even like envision like the next step or what's on my timeline, because I feel like one thing comes to another, and I'm really trying hard to like break that down and know that's not the case. But it is hard when it's like, when I have nothing on my timeline, or I don't really know, or no goals. We were kind of talking about this before, of just like career wise, like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's hard to like look at your timeline and work towards something, or be excited, or I don't know, like not do what's the normal because you don't have anything else. Like that was like jumble. I don't know if you guys followed that at all. But for example, of like when my family calls and asks, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? They don't say it like this, but I'm like, they don't say it like that. But it is a conversation for sure, of just like, when are you gonna have kids? Like, when's this gonna happen? What do you think's that's gonna happen? And it's hard to like, or what about a career? Like, what about this job? What have you thought about this? Like all these things, I get so, or like, when are you gonna move back home? It's like, I get so frustrated because it's like, I want to show them that this is like the life that I like or that I love, but it's hard when it's like, I'm not hitting other milestones to make up for the milestones that they have for me. Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like, yeah. I see why people in my position just kind of throw their hands up and is like, well, I'm just going to do what's expected because this isn't leading me anywhere else. That was kind of a side tangent and like a little
it made sense.
Not super positive, but.
No, I'm having a bit of an epiphany because just won't shut up about my therapist, but I'm gonna bring her up.
I love that. I love that.
She, the last, like, even in our first session, was talking about, like, well, what are your values? Like, what's important to you? And it's interesting because I think with religion, you're kind of force-fed, like, what your values are, what you care about, and what's important to you. And so I think that, in a way, determined my timeline, or, like, what milestones or things I wanted to hit in my life and when. And then when I, like, got out of that, I feel like I almost, like, wiped all of my, like, values away and was like, I'm gonna, like, piece by piece add things back that I actually care about. And I think that I'm, like, maybe that's what she's getting at, because...
In real time. I love this.
Because I'm like, okay, we can keep talking about, and I want to keep talking about, like, career and kids and marriage, but it's like, that, how would we ever, or how am I ever gonna, like, get those things, if those are things that I want, if I don't actually even know what my values are to, like, get me there? I do think deep down, like, I know some of them, otherwise, like, I would have been married by now, or, like, I would have had kids by now, because I would have just been like, sure, like, this is good enough. But I think I, like, care about and value certain things, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna just settle. But I also don't know, like, what I'm necessarily working towards. Like, I think it goes beyond, like, what I don't want, and, like, what am I actually even caring about having in my life. I don't fully know.
Yeah. I think it's hard because I feel the same way, and I don't have an answer, but I also know what it's like to be, like, so spiral from that I literally, like, cannot fucking breathe. So I really try to, like, not even allow myself, like, when you a few episodes ago said, like, what is my purpose, I'm like, I can't even begin to scratch the surface of that feeling, because it is so relatable and can be, like, dark and hard to, like, go through and process. So I feel like right now, and, like, the realization that I've been having for a minute, and I have to remind myself all the time, is, like, I have free will. Like, that's not to say that my, like, struggles aren't hard, but I also have, like, so many other privileges in my life, and, like, within my financial, mental, emotional, like, boundaries, like, I'm able to do so many things. And so even though it's like, of course, like, there's this sometimes, I don't know what again, this fucking year is weird, but it's like waking up almost every day with this sense of, like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing? What's today gonna look like? What am I, like, feeling so, like, not, like, overly overwhelmed, but it is just kind of, like, the thought that goes through my, another day, what's this, you know, like, another thing. And so I have to remind myself, like, I have free will. I can, like, romanticize this, like, walk that I have to do because I have dogs, or, like, things like that. So I try to, like, am steering clear of the big things, but it's, like, moments like this, and, like, big milestones like turning 30, or just having deep conversations with friends about, like, what it is I'm looking for, like, talking about whether or not we're going to be having kids. It's like these kinds of conversations spark that question of, like, what is my purpose? What is my timeline? What belongs on my timeline? And it's just like, Ellie, you have free will. It's okay. Like, Ellie, you have free will. It's okay. And it sounds silly to say, but I think in moments where I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Which is right now. I'm just like, I have free will and I can go get a Starbucks because the pool was closed. Fuck it. You know, like,
Yeah.
in those moments, I feel like my 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old self is like, that's adulthood. Like, yes, there are all of these stressors, but these, like, little things, you know, like, it sounds so silly, but it's like, yeah, I'm going to go get another coffee or something like that, that I feel like my 15-year-old self would be like, well, she's not married, but that drink looks good, though. I think it's not even a surprise. Not that I think I know that, like, we're getting older. 29 is, like, yeah, still young. There's so much life. But I think as a woman that's single, that is of, you know, childbearing years, you have to think of, you actually do have, like, a biological timeline and biological clock that you have to think about. And it's, like, so unfortunate, but it's just like the way that things are. And it's something that I think about all the time. And we did a whole fucking episode, and I'm pretty sure I said I was like, what, 70-30 or 80?
I was like 90-10 or something.
The other way. And I was like, what? And I was like 90-10 the other way. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I just am like on the fence for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. But I think like right now it's like it's hard to think about a timeline with kids because I feel like all of the boxes that need to be checked in order for me to have kids, I don't have. And so it's like, it feels like that part of my timeline is irrelevant. And then I had a friend say like, well, is that your reason for not having kids? And in my mind, in my mind, to them, I didn't get defensive, but in my mind, I was like, I don't know, maybe, probably. But then I'm like, that's not really a bad thing to me. Like, I'm not here to mess around about it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to. I've made that clear. And so it's just hard because it's like, I can imagine my life going so many different ways and so many different paths. Mm-hmm. It's just like...
I know, literally. I think if you were to ask me in this current moment, because I feel like my answer changes all the time.
Which is fine.
I feel like I'd be down to have a child.
I'd plop one out.
I would go through that experience if I felt really confident in the partnership that I was in, but I don't feel like I need to have that experience in my life. And I think that, like, when I do picture, I don't know if it's because I'm, like, slowing down, if it's because we had, like, a crazy night out experience that makes me, like, not want to go out for a while, or, like, whatever it is, or I'm, like, I'm kind of ready for something else, like, and I don't want to think of kids that way as, like, oh, I'm just bored, so I want, like, a kid to, like, hang out with. But I do think that, like, if in 10 years from now or whatever, and I'm in a stable partnership and, like, I can't physically have children, I know there are other ways to have them, and that would still be fine mm-hmm. with me.
Yeah.
Like, if we're feeling like, yeah, let's have a kid, I'm like, cool, we can still make that happen. I don't need to, like, physically give birth to have that experience. So maybe that's also my own, like, protection of, like...
What? Like, not wanting or wanting to have kids?
Like, saying that I'm not in a rush because I don't care if I, like, need them physically.
Yeah. Because you're just... I don't know either. And it's hard because it's, like... I don't know, like, whatever. Again, ask me a different day. Tomorrow, what's important to me is going to be different than what it is right now. And it's really, like... frustrating and difficult. And it's like I feel like almost like 18. Like, I feel like on the brink of, like, making these, like, big decisions. And in my mind, it's like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this, but I'm like, in my mind, I know it's not the case. Just as, like, when I was 18 going to college, it's like it wasn't as big of a deal, but I think my fear is, like, back then I walked in so blindly and, like, not knowing and not giving a fuck about my fucking future because I truly, like, did not think I was gonna make it this far. I was just like, I don't give a fuck what college, I don't care how much money, I don't care what degree, I don't care who my boyfriend is. Like, I just didn't care. I was just like, woo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And now it's like, I care so much. Like, I care so much of, like, certain things that I almost am like, don't even allow certain things to come in, or, like, whether it's career, people, like, all of these things. And I'm, like, so hesitant now and have to think through everything, and I'm just like scared. And so I'm like now in this position of, like, feeling like I have to make decisions in order to, like, make sure that my future self isn't secured, because I don't want to fuck myself over like how I fucked myself over now, like I did. It's like this whole thing, and I think that's where I get caught up in the timeline piece too, of just, like, so afraid for future Ellie, but, like, I'm also not, like, I have to remember to take care of me now, because I don't know, I could talk about this, like, spiral really quick, but I just, when I was looking through Reddit just about, like, timeline stuff, I think that was a big thing, and I think it just sparked up a bigger conversation, because it's like, once you, like it's a just different era really of the fact that like so many people our age are deciding not to have kids and having such an open dialogue on whether or not they want to have kids, or they're having kids later in life, which is fucking awesome. And I think that, you know, my parents did what the best they could with what they had, but my parents were so young. My dad was 26 and my mom was 27, or maybe even 26 and 25, which is like, sorry, like I just like is crazy to me. And so I feel like I can't hold myself to their timeline, but I'm also just like you know, just reading some of these things, and it's empowering to decide that that's not what you do, and how different your timeline opens up, and how, you know, beautiful that is. I saw some things that was like, yeah, I decided that I wasn't going to have kids, and my wife and I were able to retire a decade later than like, or earlier, sorry, than our like, you know, friend group or something. And I'm like, well, that's cool. And it's like all of these things, when it talked about timeline, how their life shifted when they how different their life shifted on whether or not they decided to have kids or not. And I just find that interesting. I also find it funny that I like think about it so much, because I literally am not even near a relationship. I
do think it plays a part though, like in dating, because
that's true. I totally get that, because it's like I feel, and that's what stresses me out too about getting close to someone and having that intimacy, is being so unsure about it. And like I don't know, I would hope that the people that I'm interested in are like understanding of that, but like, you know, there are men out there that that want a family, and they don't want to be, you know, for lack of a better term, like fucking around with someone that's like, that's not a priority of theirs. But it's also just like, what am I gonna do? Wear a fucking shirt that says I don't want kids on my first date? I mean, that'll really weed them out. But it's just
you
like,
can put it on your Hinge profile.
Oh my god, I could. It's just, yeah.
I think there's a difference between being like a hard no and it's not off the table.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a lot easier to, if I'm just thinking from dating app perspective, like I know there's the option of like wants children, has children, doesn't want children, or like open to children, whatever it is. And I kind of feel like that spectrum, if someone is so diehard, like I want children and I'm not going to like talk to anyone that doesn't also want children, then like great, that weeds them out of the dating pool and you don't even have to worry about getting close to them. If someone's like open to it, or like maybe they say they want children but they're like, it doesn't need to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like that, it's just something that they have in mind. Like as you do get closer to someone, if you feel confident in having kids with them, then it's like maybe that shifts your scale.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I also think too, like my like Aquarius in me that just like wants to do my own thing is like in my mind have like a twisted way of thinking sometimes. And I think that the people that look like they have it all figured out now, it's only gonna crash. That sounds so bad, but I'm like, in my experience, like I look at my parents and I thought that they had everything figured out, and like from the outside eye, it looked like a well put together great family that's got their shit together and all this stuff, and then like a fucking bomb exploded when they were, you know, 40 whatever, so it's like mid 40s, so it's like I would rather be bombing right now, even at 29, even if my, you know, like, shit 20s, like, I'm behind and I'm in I'm poor shit and, like, I have no whatever. And, like, you know, my peers around me have, like, these great jobs and are getting married and have all this figured out, which is great. This is going to sound so bad, but I'm also like, oh my God, your crash gonna come? Because mine's right now. I can only go up from here, baby. I'm gonna be, you know, like it's the same kind of thinking of like when you look back on some of like your high school friends and they look like absolute shit now, and I like look in the mirror and I'm like, I am prettier than ever. It's only going up. That's my timeline.
What do you feel like is?
Do you see? I don't mean it to be as bad as it sounds, but no, like that's okay.
I do. What do you feel like is like the next thing in your timeline that you're trying to figure out? Like when you're thinking about like obviously
job and relationship are like hand in hand. Not hand in hand, sorry, are like neck and neck.
I think it's the same, hand in hand, neck and neck.
Well, no, I don't, but I don't want to use the phrase hand in hand because I don't want to like
that they go together.
Yeah, that they go together. Which is hard. But
yeah.
like in my mind, like those are the two things that are like causing me so much fucking stress. And like are giving me that like anxiety when I wake up of like just like when it, because in my mind those two things equal purpose, and because I don't have those, I don't know what my purpose is, therefore I'm What would you say yours are?
Probably similar. I guess not that I have career figured out, but I do feel like I have like an idea of the direction I want to go, and I think why I haven't done that yet is my own mental. So maybe that's like next on my timeline, and not that that's going to be like a box that's checked, but I just feel like, especially if I'm saying I want to become a therapist, I'm like, how can I be a therapist if I can't even communicate? Like, it's so much easier to like tell other people what to do or to like give advice, and I'm like, I don't want to be a walking hypocrite, and I want to be able to be like, not that I'm going to be oversharing or being like, well, from my own experience, this is what I did, but to be able to have that to pull from, I'm like, I was going to therapy for years before I decided to apply myself, but I also feel like I don't know how honest I was all that whole time. Like, I feel like I like got to where I wasn't having panic attacks anymore, and then I was like, great, smooth sailing.
Like, I want to be fixed, but whoa, not that fixed.
And then when I'm getting overwhelmed again, I'm like, okay, clearly like the skills I don't have yet. So probably that. And then I think relationship piece, I'm just like, not that I'm desperate to have a partner, but I am like just sounds nice, you know?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I go back and forth. Again, it's like the same when I think about relationships too. It's like I see people that are, this isn't to say that every person in my life who is married and now has all these timelines is going to come like crashing down. I don't mean that. I'm just saying that there are situations that I see, whether close friends or just from like afar, you know, when you generally think of, you know, people, but it's like, I'm like, I would love a relationship, yes, but do I want what they have? No. Do I want just like some basic shit just to have it? Like, no. I like romanticizing my life. We're under attack. I like romanticizing the life that I have, and if that means like being single and doing what I'm doing and like love my person, my like true person doesn't find me until later years, then like way to go, future Ellie. Like,
yeah,
that's great. And so I try to remember that too. It's just like, it's also hard not to like full like side tangent, but it's like, I wish like casual dating and casual sex was like not so scary and icky.
I know.
You know?
I know.
And this is why situationships sometimes are just so nice, because it's like, I don't have to worry, you know what I mean? It's just like, and I don't really want to go back into that phase of my life because it really was not healthy, but it's like, oh my God, like, it would be nice to, you know, I don't need to explain it, you know? It's just difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel I relate to this so hard because I don't know how, like, 25, 26-year-old Erica was just out there. 27? Literally. It wasn't until last year that I feel like I...
28. 29. It wasn't until last month. For me, literally.
I was like, maybe I want there to be meaning.
It's so sad.
It's like crazy, but now I'm like, I can't go back. I literally don't think that I can.
Yeah, for what? And that's what, like,
just,
I know.
It's not as good. It doesn't, you feel like shit. It's, I don't know. I'm not going to explain it. I'm glad I had those times. I'm glad that they were there for what they were, but like, yeah, we're on to different things now because that ain't it.
The more time passes, the more I think it'll get easier for me. But being so like close to that time in my life when I'm also feeling these feelings now makes it difficult because I'm just like, but it's right here. But I just know, like, honestly, what you said is so, like, so true because I had this feeling, you know, that kind of gut feeling of like something good is, I don't know what it is, but I feel good. I feel something's coming. It's not as strong now, I'm going to be honest with you. But I do think you did say, like, what about if like these decisions that you're making now are blocking this like feeling or this like door being open for you? And I really have to remind like myself that change is difficult and you're not going to see it right away. It's like, you know, when you go to the gym, just because you don't see that first result right away, you're like never going to go back. It's difficult and it's uncomfortable to be alone right now, but I am like just trying to accept it. Yeah.
I'm repeating those words back to myself because I also needed to hear them.
Yeah.
When I'm like, should I just like settle?
Pick up the phone
for whatever this is, you know?
And make a little call, have someone come over? No.
I don't have that option.
No. I don't either. We're done.
Yeah, you're right. Neither of us do. I don't really know how to wrap this up. I don't have like words of wisdom because I feel like
I know we're not alone. Yeah, you just have to figure it out. And also just like, I don't know. There's no right way to do it. And that's what I was trying to say before of just like, it's okay to be on your timeline because you really never know what's going on in other people's thing. And as long as you're saying true, yeah, wait for that bomb. just you wait. But it's like you really have to just do what's best for you and what makes you happy. And sometimes that is like a really tough decision to make of like waking up and choosing happy, even if that means, you know, living far away from your family or deciding not to have kids or deciding to have kids or whatever it is. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's just like really what is going to bring me joy today and like how am I going to be a better person than I was yesterday and go from there and see what happens, because that's like truly all of my like mental capacity that I can do. And at the end of the day, like if I die tomorrow and that's how I live my life, like that's a pretty bomb fucking life. So
amen.
There's that.
Snaps. I have nothing to add, but you know where to find us. Polite as Fuck Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.